Okay, I'm gonna get started. I hope everyone has a good time today. Everybody look up here. Look right here. This is my first thing right here. We'll do some checking for understandings here in just a few seconds. This is launch to literacy. Launch to literacy is designated protected time. Designated protected time. I do this with my hands. Launch literacy is going to be like your ALPAC 1s, your ALPAC 2s. This is going to be your level 1s, your level 2s. This is going to be K1, 2, 3. But the easiest way to remember this, everyone, launch to literacy is learning to read. Learning to read, launch literacy. Designated protected time. Next up is linked to literacy. That's reading to learn. That's your ALPAC 3s and 4s. That's your level 3s and 4s. That's fourth grade on up with your reading levels. We're going to catch up kiddos with that. I know some of you have fifth and sixth grade reading level type of that you have to support. That's cool. We're going to show you linked to literacy as well and give you some ideas for that type of lesson. And then last but not least, I have a gift for everyone here today, the gift of song. I'm just kidding. I'm not singing to you. It's called Edusary, and it's like teacher pay teacher type of thing. I'll show you what that looks like in just a few moments. I know you guys have other things going on, so I'm going to go a little bit fast, but I am going to do some checking for understanding, though, just to make sure we all got it. Let's go right day in the life of a teacher. First of all, I'm not sure if you know this. Right now, a 65-page teacher manual is being shipped to you, and you should have the next. I'm kidding. Look at your faces. Everybody's like, what is going on? I'm joking. There is no teacher manual. We're just giving you the framework, and you're just going to put the meat on. You got the bones. We're just going to put the meat on. That's all we're going to do. First things up, and thank you for those who laughed and those who are grimacing in pain. I do apologize. Like, what is wrong with this guy? I'm sorry. Okay, my self-esteem is right here. Interaction's important to me. Okay, let's go right here. I got right here, this is my 3 levels, but before I do that, launch literacy is learning to read, and I clicked on my placement guide. And for those of you who want to follow along at home, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat. I'm going to put this in the chat if you want to follow along at home, but everyone should have access to this now. You got an email for me. So this is and I clicked on English language placement. This is my placement level. I'm just going to zoom up right here. And this is how we do it. I know we have access to a lot of data, but the one that we're going to be focusing on is reading levels, because based on experience, the student's reading level usually tells us what the success of the lesson is going to be, right? And everyone who has a classroom knows when they have like a level 1 student, a level 4 student, you can scaffold to differentiate as hard as you can, but it's really hard to meet in between, right? So this is kind of what we have. This is how we're going to do placement. We look at the Lexile levels there, and if anyone needs help with this, you just send me an email. We can do another webinar, and we can do placement. Happy to help. Don't feel like you're alone. And all we're going to do is we look at the Lexile level or the reading level right here. So that's a gray level, or the Lexile level. And this is where we know to place them. We also made 2 different strands in launch literacy. Launch literacy is reading to learn. Linked to literacy is learning to read, and then linked to literacy is reading to learn. Okay, that's how we do placement. Day in the life of a teacher. Let's say I have a bunch of newcomers I'm working with, and that's okay. I go to level A, because that's the level they're in, level A. Once again, no teacher manual. I go to quarter 1, that's where I'm starting at. And I have 2 choices I can make right now. I could just go with a designated program, which we're going to recommend, but some teachers like seeing the whole thing laid out. So you have choices. And once again, you can click and follow along and explore and figure out what works for you. I'm okay with that. I'm going to click designated 45 because this is 30 minutes or less. And look at what we've done for you guys. We created 2 strands. We have reading foundation and reading comprehension. Let me explain the difference, okay? And you already know the difference, but I'm just going to say it out loud. Reading foundation is wiggling lines into words. We're listening for the sound. We're saying the sound. We're reading the sound. Reading comprehension, even though in grade 3 and grade 2, there's technically no such thing as a long-term EL or multi-generational EL. It's technically not possible. We say there is. So we created this thing called reading comprehension because we want our students rehearsing that academic language, the language of testing, because we think that they can't test out because they're stuck with comprehension. They're able to participate in your class just fine. They're almost wearing like a chameleon cloak or something, right? But that comprehension is just missing. The rehearsal of that academic language is just missing. So we created those 2 strands for you. And in our placement guide, we'll say RF or RC that will guide you into. Okay, once again, day in the life of a teacher, everything's fine. Look at this. We have it paced out day by day. Okay? So And if we're only working with them with a couple of days a week, I think you're only doing 4 days a week, right? 4 days, okay. Um, one of the things that we might recommend is skip day one and just do day 3, 4, and 5. If you think your kids are doing really well and picking up the noises, the sounds really good, maybe we just do day 5, day 10, day 15. We hit the accelerator and we just do the review. The next thing, we know that something's always going to happen in the classroom. So we always work from left to right. We always work from left to right because we know something might happen. So listen, I go to day 16, it says listening and speaking, listening and speaking. Cool, I do that. I get to phonemic awareness and phonics. Oh my gosh, that's great. I can't get to words to know or spelling. Nothing bad will happen. If I can't get to it, we skip it. That's okay, we skip it because we're always working from left to right. And since this is a paced out program and it's spiraled, and I'll show you what that means in just a second as well, guess what? We're going to touch on it tomorrow and then the next day. And then we're going to build on those skills and we do our review day on Friday. All right. Pretty easy so far. But let me pull up some lesson ideas for you. I'm going to pull up phonemic awareness. I'm going to pull out phonics. So I hit those tabs, I hit those little buttons, and up on my tab is the lessons themselves. So I have these lessons on my projector, I have them on my smart board, and I'm gonna get ready to teach these lessons. All right. Okay. Stopping right here to talk about some of the flavor and spice we like to see in some of these lessons, okay? All of our lessons are designed around this one idea. We're big on explicit direct instruction. And we know that every human being has very little working memory, and we got to do something with it. We got to do choral reading. We have to, we have to read with you, you have to track with me, I have to do a gesture. I'm gonna have to repeat it with my partner. And we know we get to higher order thinking when we ask for questions, we ask higher order questioning. What does that mean? Well, I give you a sentence frame, then I explain my thinking. Okay, that's pretty easy so far. I don't know about you, but I lose my keys all the time. So what do? I put my keys on the night shelf and I say, I'm putting my keys on the night shelf. I say it out loud to myself. But you know what? That's not good enough. Next thing I do, I put my keys on the night shelf and I say, I'm blowing up the night shelf. I've created 2 ways of remembering it. The last place I put it and the last thing I blew up. Maybe I make it even better. I put my keys there. I say, boom, I blew it up. All I'm doing is creating multiple ways of remembering things. So all of our lessons are designed with this in mind. And since we're really big on these lessons, all of our lessons are designed with primacy recency. That means right when we start, it's showtime. We go into the lesson. This is a 40-minute example. We know our kids can't do 40 minutes. This is like a full adult. So most of our kids are 10, 15 minutes. So we go right in the prime time as soon as our kiddos get there. I know you have other things going on, some things happening. Someone just threw up or something. You got to take roll. I'm just saying, as soon as you can get to one of these lessons, the better off we're going to be, because the big idea, the big aha moment happens right away. Last but not least, you know what? The one thing we didn't forget about the curve of forgetting, right? Remember in college, we did Cornell notes and they said you never have to study a day in your life if you review the notes one day. I love the curve of forgetting. The reason why I love the curve of forgetting is because one time I was the world's greatest teacher. True story. I was the world's greatest teacher. I am teaching like awesome person, right? I'm doing the best job. The kids are totally in the lesson. I'm getting high fives. And I'm like, okay, and the bell rings and they're all like, oh. And then that weekend, I go to my dad's house. We have a barbecue and I have like a family member who's a nurse and a welder. I'm all like, oh man, you guys all made terrible decisions with your life. I'm changing the world. I'm teaching the next generation. I'm feeling really good about myself. So I get back in the classroom a couple days later and I go back to that lesson. I was like, guys, remember that one lesson where you gave me the high five and you're really sad? And they all looked at me like, what are you talking about? So with our lessons that we have it paced out for us. So we're constantly spiraling up and we're doing review and we build on existing skills. Now, it doesn't matter if we're learning to read or reading to learn, both attributes have it. Now, here's the engine that powers us. So when we're using these instructional practices, we do insist that you use this practice with our lessons. I'm gonna give you some ideas and some examples of this in just a few moments, okay? Let's go right here. This is pronounce with me. I know what you're thinking. This good looking, chubby Hispanic guy is seriously going to tell me, pronounce with me, right? No, but yes. But when we do pronounce with me, it's high leverage academic words with multiple syllables. Words with multiple meanings, right? This word is engagement. Maybe I do some backward syllabication. Mint, gauge, in, engagement. If I show the word determine, I say, who knows what this word is? And I do some old-fashioned popcorn teaching, and someone yells out, determine. And if that's the first thing my kiddos hear, that's what they're going to be saying the rest of the day. So we're really big on pronouncing, and we're always pointing at something. I know it sounds kind of silly, but we're looking to make the connection. And I know my guys can't read yet. I know they can't read student engagement. I know that. But American Reading Panel says we do whole words, phonemic awareness, phonics. Whole words is part of it. So we're going to go student engagement. Words with multiple meanings. Today, we will interpret a diagram. If I have an EL in my class, I know what he's thinking. Today, I'm going to help my mom at the post office, right? It's like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. So we're big on pronounce with me. We do track with me, read with me. Everybody look up here, I'm going to read. I'm doing it for a couple different reasons. I want to know that they're reading with me. A lot of times these EL students that you have gotten really good at moving their mouth, but nothing's coming out. Nothing's coming out. Or they'll be doing like a read aloud and they're like 2 lines above or 2 lines below. You've seen that, right? Okay. So track with me, read with me. Right now, I got gestures. I'll show you some examples of gestures. A character is a person, animal, or thing in a story. But I'll give you a lesson delivery example here in just a moment. All right, this is my big one, and I have to insist on this one. I love pair share. I love clapping, and I love pair share. Well, it says we're supposed to allow our kid, research says that we're supposed to allow our kiddos about 20 seconds to process. I can't give them 20 seconds. They're going to do something else. So what I do is in our program, and we have it built in, and I'll show you how that works. We have a lot of pair share opportunities with our kiddos. And it says right here, A's and B's and B's and A's. So we have labeled partners. Why? Because I need them to practice that academic language. Now I'm about to say something controversial. Okay, this is the first time I'll do it today. We think that the only time they're going to rehearse academic language is in the classroom. Now, don't say that because your parents at home will be very upset with you, but I'll say that because I don't work for your school district. All right, let's go on. So our pair shares allows us time to practice and rehearse that academic language. It lowers the anxiety and it gives them one more rehearsal. Attention signal, just to bring them back from pair share. And then I love whiteboards. I know it's ELD, but we do whiteboards with the ELDs. It's another way of kinetically writing something down, but more importantly, it's for me to make a decision. I get to see instantly where my kiddos are at with that. Once again, I'll show you some example. Okay, time for me to be religious for a second. Oh, no, I'm gonna talk about religion. Okay, hear me out. The devil's real and its pronouns, because look at here, we're complete sentences. If my kiddo can get away with saying yes, no, A, B, for, I mean, just the most minimalist words, they're going to do it with us, right? They're going to just give us a little bit amount. No, I need to say the whole thing. So teaching this style is a little bit tough the first time we do it, okay? Because why? Maybe they're not used to it so much. Maybe they're never asked or called on. It's a little bit tough. It's a little bit of mental energy. But, English is not the easiest thing in the universe. So let me give you some ideas what we're doing right here. So I'm going to go back. This is my example of phonemic awareness. We're at that level 1 type of stuff, phonemic awareness. I have little cursors right here. Do you see that? I'm just moving to the left and to the right. Look at the artwork we're doing right here. Look at the artwork we're doing. This is not offensive to anyone. Okay. So whether it's a little kiddo or someone a little bit pushing the age group a little bit, that's okay. Look what we did here. Mirror my engagement norms, right? Everyone, look up here. This is what we're going to do today. This word is practice. This word is practice. Practice means to say something over and over again. Practice means to say something over and over again. What does practice mean, everyone? Practice saying something over and over again. Okay, great. If I say practice, you say over and over again, right? Cross-reference, whatever you like to do. And I'm also going to use in a sentence. I'm going to practice being a good singer by practicing my song lyrics all the time, over and over again. I know I can be really good if I practice enough. Okay, everyone, get ready because I'm getting ready to call on you. And when I call on you, I pull up my randomizer. These are popsicle sticks. I love randomizers, even if it's a small group. Randomizers, because I just want to keep it fair. I want to keep it fair. And I also want to make sure I'm calling on everyone. Sometimes we kind of just call on the first 2 people who are anxious and eager to share with us. And that's okay, but we have to have everyone participate. All right, everyone, let's get ready. When I call on you, I want you to tell me, what does practice mean? Or can you use it in your own sentence? See that little spice right there? Differentiation with a question. Everybody always talks about it. That's just an example. You're already doing it. I'm just breathing it into life, just giving you the ideas right here. And look at here. We put our first checking for understanding question right there. Do you see that? I'm declaring the objective, and this is what we will practice today. Okay. So I'm giving a definition, everybody. Miguel, what does practice mean, or can you use it in a sentence? Miguel gives me an answer. All right, cool. Today we'll practice the sound. Now watch this, everyone. I'm going to go to the next page. Look at what we did here. I don't know about you, but when I was doing ELD for the first time, oh boy, I messed up big with the letter P. Look at this. This is a place of articulation. I wasn't in a school a long time. I was out of school for a long time. And more importantly, I didn't sign up to be an ELD teacher. You know, ELD, I didn't find ELD. ELD found me, right? And so what I have here is places of articulation where I physically place my tongue and stuff. Lucky for you, everybody, I shaved today. Look at this bad boy. I trimmed this thing. No. So I'm gonna put my mouth closer to the camera. I'm just joking. I'm not gonna do that. But I did brush though. So all right, let's keep going. No. All right. So we have our places of articulation. And the really neat thing about this is because a long time ago, I would go, pa, pa. Do you hear that? That's wrong. But I was doing that because I wasn't focused on it. It's like, of course it makes that pa sound. It's P. No. So we made sure to put those in there for you. And we even have little teacher instructions for you. Little notes right there. But all the lessons are designed the same though. Everybody look up here. This is what we're doing today. We will practice the P sound. Let's read together now. We'll practice the P sound. Read it by yourself. Practice the P sound. Read it to your partner. Can my A partners read it to my B partners? B's read it to A. Miguel, what are we going to do today, buddy? Luis, what are we doing today? We will practice the P sound. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Well done. Guys, and look at it. I have right here. I have a little connection. Here's my example. This is activate prior knowledge. Say the name of the picture. Pin. Do you hear the P sound in pin? You model your thinking, right? I do hear the P sound in, model your thinking. Once again, the framework's here for you. We go to the big idea, the concept development, the aha moment that we have. We also put this here.
P.
And I'm saying right now we read everything together. Everybody look up here. Words are made of sounds. Let's read it with me. Words are made of sounds, right? We're reading it all together. Some words have the P sound. So we'll have our examples and our non-examples. We have our places of articulation. And then here's our claim to fame. And this is why we're awesome. We put our sentence frames here. A lot of you can do sentence frames in your sleep. Okay. I'm just saying when you're doing something kind of new and challenging, or it's a Thursday at 2 o'clock, I need a sentence frame put on the wall for me. That's just how I am. And it's okay. And of course, once they're ready to start exploring and making their own sentence frames, awesome, as long as they're rehearsing the new academic language. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So we're going to say the P sound. Do you hear the P sound in KISS? Everyone, whiteboards out. And let's get ready to vote. And don't forget your metacognition. Guys, get ready to vote with your whiteboard. Get ready to go. Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. Because when you vote, it's power. When I hear your voice, you become powerful. Whatever metacognition you like to use, I'll always pump them up. I'm always like, oh my gosh, you're so clever. Let's keep going. You're already doing it. I'm just saying it out loud, okay? Do you hear the P sound in KISS? Yes or no? 1, 2, 3. We do whiteboards up. Once again, if we're at 60, 70% correct answers, we can continue. We can continue to the sentence frame. Do you see how we're doing that right there? We have the question we're asking first. We're getting a yes or no. Did they understand the concept that the letter P is making the P sound? And can they hear it? P. That's what we're asking. Yes or no? If we get 60% right, we continue. That's right. We do hear the P sound. Oh, I see some of you are correcting your answer. That's okay. We're all learning today. Okay, get ready to answer. I want you to say, I can hear the P. I cannot hear the P sound in KISS. Let's practice that one more time together. Can my A partners share that answer with my B partners? Can my B partners share the answer with the A partners? This is the beginning of that comprehension part. I know it's just sound, and I know we can do this with YouTube videos going pop, 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 pop. We can do it 27 times. We got to do comprehension then. We have to and then we have to use it with a sentence frame. That's the only way we're going to get there. This is the only way we're going to have our kids reading and writing in 2 weeks. This is the only way we're going to do it. So I go right here. This is just my example. We're just level A. I already gave you some ideas here. We got our phonics. So we're listening. Then we're going to go to phonics. Then we're listening, we're reading, and then we're going to go to our writing. And then we have our speaking and speaking and listening as well. So let me clear up here. I know this is a lot of stuff. I'm so sorry, but I do know it's 4 o'clock, and I know how it is to be a teacher at 4 o'clock. So, oh, poor me. Okay, go here. This is what we looked at. So launch literacy is learning to read. That's going to be your ones and twos are going to be in there. That's people who are acquiring the language. They have to learn how to read. We're going to do placement. You already have the placement. Now, if you have to turn in any type of paperwork, if you have to turn in a scope and sequence of your weekly, whatever you're doing every week or whatever, you're either going to click on the scope and sequence or alignment to standards. Now check this bad boy out. Look what I did for y'all. This is really cool. Now I know ELD is supposed to be by itself. It's designated, but I do know sometimes the paths cross with ELA. Sometimes, not supposed to, but just for fun, just for my beautiful teachers, what we did is we grab the ELA standard, California ELA standard. You see that there? We translate it to English or deconstruct it and gave you the teachable learning objectives. Then we cross-referenced it with the ELD standard. So if there's any type of paperwork that you have to turn in week by week, or if they give you any type of data to look at, like your CAS assessments or your ALPAC assessments, if you have any of that data and you're like, okay, my breadth of standard is being missed for this standard, you go to the scope and sequence and say, you know what, remediation Friday, everyone gets it. You know, whatever, once again, whatever you want to do, I'm showing this. This is the first time us meeting. I'm just trying to give you the ballpark here, and that's okay. This is okay. You can tell I was in the classroom early today. I'm super pretty hyped up. Okay, so right here, this is our engagement norms. This is the last time we're going to see this today. Pronounce with me, track with me, read with me, gestures, pair share. Let me show you another example. Let me show you another example of lesson delivery. Can I clean up first? This is my landing page. I go to link to literacy. So this is reading to learn, isn't it? Reading to learn. I go level to D. And by the way, I'm doing terrible checking for understanding, but I'm out of time, so I got to go. So quarter one, quarter two is informative text. If you guys could get through quarter one and quarter two, awesome. You can't make it to quarter three and quarter four, that's going to be okay. And why? Because odds are the ELA teacher you're working with, or maybe it's you, you know, you love literature, and narrative and persuasive is fun. I love to do that stuff. But with my ELD students, I got to equip them to be able to be supported in all domains. So I'm going to click on quarter one, day in the life of a teacher. I had a super long weekend. I have no prep time. You know, I have some stuff going on at home. My target order is all messed up. And I'm like, okay, I just got to teach this. Today's day 4. I have to teach learning objective through concept development. Look how this is paced out. I click right here. I'm going to teach ALO through CD, learning objective through concept development. This screen pops open. I have an optional handout, and it's a fillable PDF. If you want to use it, that's cool. If you don't want to use it, that's great. Let's just use whiteboards, whatever you want to do. I hit teach full screen. All right, let me show you how I do this. And by the way, this is called reducing the linguistic demand of a lesson. Everyone look up here. This word is determine. Determine means to figure out. I know a lot of you already know that determine means like you really want to do something. You determine to mean the soccer team. You would be right, but determine's a fancy word. Everybody show me fancy fingers. You know, whatever metacognition you like. Determine means figure. If I say determine, you say figure out, whatever. And I use it in a sentence. And I say, and I do my differentiation of a question, guys. When I call on you, get ready to answer. And I want you to say determine means figure out, or use it in your own sentence. A's say B's, B's say it to A. Micah, what does determine mean? Or can you use it in a sentence? And if you're doing class points or something, you can do that too. All right. And of course, teachers, you don't have to explain what context clues are yet, because that's what we're doing in the concept development. Everybody look up here. We will determine the meaning of words using context clues. Track with me, read with me. I randomly call one student, and a long time ago when I was a world's worst teacher, I would call my buddy Micah. Micah will look at me and he will go, we will determine the meaning of words using context clues. And a long time ago, I would do this. Look at my face, everyone. I would go, Micah, it's determined. Say determined. Micah, say determined. It's determined. Micah, say determined. And I would go like, you know, having him repeat it. Now that I'm a good teacher and moderately handsome, now what I do is, oh, Micah, it's determined. Let's try one more time. Determined. He still gets it kind of wrong. Okay, everyone, let's say this. Let's all help Micah out. Everyone, this word is determine. Everyone, 1, 2, 3, determine. Say it twice to the sky. Determine, determine. Once down below, determine. Micah, determine. Okay, great. That's what I thought you said. Okay, I'm getting old. I can't hear very good. All right, you know, right. So but we have to provide effective feedback. Otherwise, we're just real-time YouTube videos. We gotta stop and be like, hey, you gotta give me something. Once again, super long weekend. No teacher manual. This is what I do. This is activate prior knowledge. Do you see that right there? It's activate prior knowledge. I hit this little hamburger symbol right here. It says activate prior knowledge, right? Just the 8 components of a well-designed lesson. Okay. Activate prior knowledge is always 2 second. I go over here. Everyone look, let's read this together. Look at this picture. Let's read it together, guys. Picture. Where are they? I want you to think about it. Get ready to answer, but don't answer yet. Think about it. And when they're doing that, I'm standing right here and I read this little note to myself. This is my prep time. My prep time can be in real time. If you're a fast enough reader, we can do this together. All right, get ready to answer. I'll do 2 randoms and someone can volunteer, okay? Where are they at? Oh, I see a computer. They're a computer classroom. They're in the computer lab. Oh, okay. I see a backpack. I see students. I see teachers. Oh, okay, guys. All those little things that you're seeing, those are clues. You're seeing clues and pictures. And those clues are fantastic because they'll help you figure out things, don't they? Now, we have the same thing when we're reading something. It's called context clues. Now, this is one of the most important ELD lesson in the history of mankind. Why? Because we get to figure out what words mean. So we are teaching this concept. And we're bypassing sub skills because I know they can't read all the words yet. Okay? And that's okay because we already get the concept across. Watch this one, guys. Context clues can be nearby words or pictures that help determine or figure out the meaning of words. Whew. That is a mouthful, right? We're going to track, we're going to read, and I do this. Everybody, let's get ready to draw. Oh, I'm sorry, metacognition. Guys, I'm going to show you something, but it's really for 6th graders. Okay, but I think you can handle it. I'm going to show you something, guys, but you know what? When I show this to you, you won't think of anything else for the rest of the day. So say bye to your partner because you're not going to remember his name. Ready? And everybody kind of laughs and stuff. Let me show you this. Everybody, let's write an X on your hand. Let's write an X on your hand. And this is just an example, right? I mean, you guys do your own gestures and stuff. This is X on my hand. Guys, this is my unknown word. I don't know what this word means. But context clues can be nearby words or pictures that help me determine the meaning of words. Let's all say that together. Let's all stand up and say it together. And let's remember the gesture, right? We do the gesture together. We all stand up. Can my A partners read it to my B partners? Even though they can't read word for word, we know that they're getting the point. This is my unknown word and the context clues are here. And then I go right here to my passage, my text, my example, my story. Guys, learn from me, please. One time a kiddo said, I didn't answer anything on the test because I didn't know what passage was. So ever since then, that broke my heart. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna read this story. I'm gonna read this text message here. This is my sample story. And once again, everything we're giving you is always bite-sized little lesson. We have a little concept and we just have a bite-sized example that we're giving out. You're doing all the teaching that you're normally doing. You're modeling your thinking like you've always been. We just want to make sure that we're doing our engagement, right? The track with me, read with me, qual reading. Okay. Marcos had been running hard in soccer practice. He was exhausted. Exhausted means tired. All right. You make your jokes and give your examples and everything like that. Oh, I don't know. When I leave, when I go from my car to my office, I'm super tired. I'm exhausted. I want to go home already. Everybody laughs, but we go over here. Guys, I already know you're all very clever and you already know exhausted means clever. Let's pretend we don't. What's the context clues? What's the words that are going to help me figure out, that are going to help me determine that exhausted means tired? Let's read this together. Running hard. Look at this, guys. I have nothing but graphic organizers built in this thing. You're going to see this for all of our lessons, no matter if I'm going with the sound or with contextual evidence and stuff. I mean, it's in everything we do. Running hard. Oh my gosh, guys, running hard is my first context clues. Running hard, they're nearby. They're right next to it, aren't they? Yeah, right there. They're right next to it. And that helps me figure out that exhausted and tired, because what happens when you're running hard? You get exhausted, you get tired. Oh man. Oh, look, we got a picture. Because it says nearby words or pictures. Oh my gosh. He has his shin guards off and he's done. Those things take like 20 minutes to put those on, I think. I don't know. Everybody laughs a little bit, right? So we go here, and this is a long time ago. It was okay to do recall questions, right? Like, okay, who's tired? What's the context clue? All right, good job, guys. No. We have to ask application questions. Everyone take 10 seconds, make that 5 seconds, and read that checking for understanding question by yourself. Go ahead, read it. Man, if I show that to a fourth grader right now, this is an ALPAC question. It will blow their minds. This is an ALPAC question. And this is one of the reasons we can't get out of ALPAC. We're not comprehending. So what do? We test prep, I guess. But really what we're doing is explaining the academic language. That's all. Hey, guys, let's read up here. And of course, it's the question versus me and my students. That's the way I like to do things. Okay. You don't have to do it that way. I'm just saying. Guys, let's read this together. Track with me, read with me. Which words in the sentence are context clues that help determine achievement means success? Explain. Guys, all they're doing is they're asking us. They're telling us to read this sentence right here, and they're telling us achievement means success. They just want to know what's the context clues, what's the nearby words that helps me figure out that achievement means success. Let's vote on that. Everyone, whiteboards out. Whiteboards out. Park them. Okay, right. Letter A, nice and big on your whiteboard. If the context clue with all his friends, does that help you figure out? Does that help you determine that achievement means success? Or write B on your whiteboard, nice and big, if it's he celebrated his greatest. Does that tell you achievement means success? All right, get ready to vote. 1, 2, 3, chin it. Show me your answers. Once again, all I hit was the right arrow because it shows me the answer, okay? Once again, 50-50, we go back to reteach. I did something wrong. Someone farted in the back room. I don't know. We just go back to reteach. If I'm at 60, 70, 80%, most of them are getting the idea. I say, hey, that's right, guys. The context, and I model my thinking. I model what I'm going to expect the answer to be. That's right. The context clue, he celebrated his greatest. That's the nearby word that helps me determine that achievement means success. He celebrated his greatest. I celebrated his great. I mean, it's achievement, isn't it? Yeah, I want to celebrate my greatest achievement. That's great. Okay, great. Now, and it's okay to change your answer. We're all learning here. If you're writing notes down, that's one of my favorite sayings. We're all learning today. It's okay to change your answer. Obviously not on tests or anything, but whiteboards or whatever. It's okay. And I go right here, and I'm like, guys, I'm gonna get ready to answer. I'm gonna get ready to call on you. But when I call on you, I want you to answer like this. The phrase, see what we did there? The phrase, the sentence, the phrase, the words, whatever, the context clue. The phrase, he celebrated his greatest, is the context clues because, and then maybe this time I hit erase all, and I turn on my highlighter tool. A lot of you guys already have like whiteboards and stuff that does this already. Cool. If you don't, we have it built in here. And maybe I'll highlight achievement means success. It's kind of what the answer needs to be, right? Okay. Popsicle sticks out. And I fake the sticks. I lie, okay? Because I need to hear the right answer first. And I like to call on my middle performer first. I call my buddy Miguel. And everyone knows what's going to happen. I call my buddy Miguel, and he looks at me and he says B. And you die a little bit inside, and you're like, no, buddy, you got to give me the whole sentence. You got to pull it out of them. I'm so sorry. And guys, it's a lot of work. I am not going to lie to you. It's like teaching in molasses. And especially if they're not used to it from, their previous teachers and stuff. If they're not used to talking, it's a lot of work. But we're hoping, right? And evidence suggests, based on our fancy study from Stanford, and based on teaching this lesson, once they get used to saying words, they just do it automatically. It just happens. It's expected. So I'm like, oh, buddy, Micah, no, I'm sorry, Miguel, you gotta say the whole thing, buddy. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, teacher. Doesn't even know my name, calls me teacher, been with me 6 months, right? And I'm like, okay. The phrase, oh yeah, sorry. The phrase, he celebrated his greatest, is the context clues because achievement means success. You know how they finish their sentence, like either really high, really low, or they get kind of like quiet. And you're like, okay, hey, so what do we do? Well, the patron saint of education, John Hattie, says we have to give effective feedback. This is what we do. That's right, buddy. The phrase, he celebrated his greatest. That's the context clue. That's the nearby words. That's telling me achievement means success. That's right. He celebrated his biggest achievement. Achievement means success. He celebrated his greatest success. He celebrated his greatest achievement. Whatever you like to do. Then I call him my high performer. And everyone with Alpac in California, you guys already know, right? Someone's always stuck in Alpac. The parents filled out the paperwork, they're stuck. And sometimes they're like a super high performer. And there's always like a Luis in every school. Okay. They have a cell phone, like second grade, they're chewing gum all the time, right? And you're like, Louise, can you give me the answer, please? And she looks at you like you have two heads, and she's all like, the phrase B is the context clues because achievement means success. Everyone knows that. So what do? Here's the perfect opportunity to give extended thinking. So what do? The fastest, quickest way to do extended thinking is reverse the polarity of the question. If you're writing down notes, this is my favorite one. Luis, thank you for being in my class. That's right, it is B. He celebrated his greatest. Hey, why didn't you choose A with all his friends? And I've done this lesson a bunch of times, and it's like, oh, just because you have friends doesn't mean anything, because friends are fake, and maybe you get some social learning or some extra stuff, some free extended thinking. But the most important part is you get to go like this. Look at me. All right, great, Luis. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's wonderful. You get to take a break mid-teaching. Like this peak of this teaching, the peak of that concept, that peak of that primacy effect, you actually get to go. So you have them pair share this answer. Then we call on low performer, the guy who changed his answer, and we just call him out. We just say, hey, I saw that you have a different answer. I saw that you changed your answer. Can you share your answer with us? And a lot of times it's like, well, I thought when you have a lot of friends, that's really good, right? And then you can just be like, well, they're telling us achievement means success. So, he celebrated his greatest versus having a lot of friends. But we kind of know that if you have a lot of friends, it doesn't really, having a lot of friends can be bad sometimes. What if you only have 2 pieces of gum left and you have 5 friends? 3 people are mad at you. I don't know. Whatever you like to do, right? But a teacher never yields. So at the very least, hey man, can you just repeat after me? The phrase B is the context clues, Hey, it's okay. Can you just look up here and let's read it together, all of us? Context clues can be nearby words or pictures that help me. Ladies and gentlemen, when we teach this way with any of our lessons, this just humble engagement norms, that silly little red poster. They read the context. I read it to them. They read it with me. We read it together. I'm sorry, they read it by themselves. I had my spicy gesture that I gave them with my prompt. I have a bite-sized example that will get the job done. I can use non-examples if that's your style or if I have time. Then I had a real-life checking for understanding Alpac question that I helped translate for them, okay? Then they got this question here, and they got to vote on it, and they did their pair share with the answer with the sentence frames. Then I had my high performer go with free extended thinking. I had my middle performer go, and I even had my low performer go. We have provided you a framework of a lesson, and then when you put the meat on using these humble engagement norms that you're already doing already, just saying we're just going to keep doing it with this, right? We're learning the concept development and rehearsing the new academic language 8 to 12 times within a 5 to 10 minute period. And more importantly, when you talk to your kiddos, they're not going to be talking about lasers and pandas. They're going to say a character in a story is a person, animal, or thing. Let me show you how we do. Let me show you how you can remember context clues forever. So we're really big on this, guys. Okay, I'm going to stop there. We'll do a 2-minute checking for understanding question. The question is, because we know we're going to be running out of time, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to think, and I'm going to call on 2 people to share what cool thing that they saw in this lesson delivery example that they liked and can make better, or grab and just use it the way it is, and that's okay. So we're going to grab 2 people in 2 minutes, starting now. All right, everybody get ready to unmute yourselves. About 30 seconds. Normally I would give you a sentence frame, but we don't need to do that. We're all professional learners here today. But if we're in person or something, I would always be like, let's use my sentence frame. Okay. So first person we're calling is Miss Lisa Cox. If you can be so kind as to unmute yourself and share your thoughts, please, on what you saw today that you liked, that you can incorporate or make better.
There we go. Can you hear me? There we go. Hi, I'm the ELD teacher and I work with level 1s and 2s. And I liked the check for understanding because many times if they just say A and they're so limited, I say, okay, and move on. And I like that piece of it. So for me personally, that was my favorite part of today.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And you're going to find that in the right-hand column, there's always going to be checking for understanding questions there. There'll be like at least 2, maybe 3, and there'll always be like a sentence frame prompt. For those who are like opposed to sentence frames, I totally get it. We want our students to express themselves. I love expression. I just need them to say that sentence frame with using the new academic language and the concept, and then express yourself. Just jump over that one hurdle and then express yourself. Very good. Thank you, Miss Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Miss Jazz Reed, go ahead and unmute yourself and share your thoughts, please.
I really like the call on multiple students aspect. It's something that I also incorporate, and it takes a little while for the students to get used to because they're like, but my friend just said the answer, what he said. And now they're at the point where they're like, okay, I'm gonna get it. And I always finish with the kid that never wants to say anything because they're shy that they're fearful of getting it wrong. So when it comes to they've heard it 4 times and now they're the 5th person doing it, like that confidence that it builds in them is always so cute.
That's absolutely right. Well done. Thank you so much, Miss Reed. Absolutely right. And when we're doing our pair share, they get one more rehearsal of it. I know pair share is hard to do because kids like to talk, and that's okay. But if my ELD kids could go in with a pair share with the sentence frame ahead of time, guys, get ready to answer. When you answer, I want you to say this. A's go first, share with your partner. And when I start doing pair shares for the first time, I cut them off a little bit to build like a little bit of anxiety, just a little bit of anxiety, not bad anxiety, but okay, we're out of time. Next time, guys, you gotta go a little bit faster. I'm sorry. But you know what? You'll have a chance to talk in just a few moments. And then sometimes when I'm doing random calls, I call the same person on purpose. And I'll say something like, oh my gosh, you should buy a lottery ticket today. You're so lucky, right? Just so everyone's like, oh man, I might be called on again. Like I reinforce that almost immediately. And I do it on purpose. Or if someone's kind of like starting to squirrel around a little bit and I accidentally call them, anyway, you guys already know everything. I'm just saying some ideas, right? You already do this. Okay, let's stop right there for a second. And so we have Launch Literacy, Designated Protected Program, ELD. We're learning to read and launch literacy. Okay, it's a paced out program, goes day by day. You can hit the accelerator by going on Fridays, day 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20. We have it placed out by level. Look at my placement guide. I'm available for questions for placement guide, or we do it in real time. And you can just share your screen and keep the information on your screen. We won't record anything, and we can go student by student, and we can do placement that way if you want. We also have additional resources on here for like if you have to do centers. I'll show you what that looks like right now. I'm clicking quarter 2. I'm clicking my daily curriculum. This is if people kind of like enjoy seeing everything that's going to happen in a day. So this is the full program. This is like an hour's worth of stuff. You don't have an hour. However, some of my teachers who make decisions, if you want to, they'll say, I'm going to do phonemic awareness, phonics, and reading comprehension. I'm going to do those 3 ELDs. And if I need help with rotation stations, I click this button right there that says rotation stations, and a PDF document opens up with some PDF rotation station ideas for you. But if you already have rotation stations or centers, I'm not sure what you call them, we have those ready to go. We have the little instructions on how they work. And then we have some the PDFs for them as well. You don't have to use it. It's just an additional resource for you. We even have flashcards. So let's say like, Joel, like only 6, everybody's sick. Heaven forbid that happens again, but it does happen. Everybody's sick, or we need a light day because we just did, 2.5 hours of Alpac and they just finished CASP. I don't think they're going to be able to hang with me. Something bad happened today. So guys, look at here. We're going to use homophones. Let's do very practical. Read the homophones, read the sentences. We have a little concept right here. It's homophones it's the same sound. There's a spell different. This is male, this is male. The male firefighter saved a child. The male, I have some mail. A male guy delivered my mail and it was male. So a guy delivered mail and it was a guy. So either way, it's a win-win for me, right? So I'm like, oh yeah. So I go right here. Okay, game time, whiteboard's out. Complete the sentences. Everybody get ready to write male or male. said the exact same way. Did you get the blank today? 1, 2, 3, write on your whiteboards. 1, 2, 3, chin it, show me your whiteboards. Okay, 2 points for team A. There are just so much good stuff in here, guys. But we do like the fact that if you follow my program with fidelity, we're going to level up our kiddos very quickly. And we've been very successful with this. Okay. And here we put the ELD levels kind of like right here because some of our teachers asked us to do that. Last but not least, what's in it for you? Well, besides the paced out program, I have a gift for everyone here. The gift is song. I'm not singing again, but I clicked on Edusary. You guys might have seen us on Teacher Pay Teacher. That's where we got our start at a long time ago. This is a lesson gallery. These are ready to teach lessons, all designed in that similar way. So if you're really big on integrated versus the designated that we just showed you, that's cool. That's cool. Let's say I want to do characters or theme. I just type in theme and lessons for theme pop open. Let's say I just want to do 3rd grade math. I hit filters. I hit 3rd grade. I hit math. So spending $2.50 on Teacher Pay Teacher, I have California state approved lessons that are ready to roll out. Look at that. Gets even better. My least favorite thing in the history of mankind being a teacher was grade level meetings. Grade level meetings, okay? I never liked them. When I was a young teacher, I came in there and I'm like, and some lady would show up and she'll be like, oh, this is, RL 3.1. And it was like a crossword puzzle, word search. It'd make me angry because I knew it wasn't, but I wasn't going to challenge anybody, right? I was my first year there. I don't want to get fired. I needed the money. So I go here, and what we've done is we grab the California state standards, and lucky for us, Common Core learning objectives for ELA, math, science, ELD. They're the world's. California leads the way. That's cool. So my little company helped make these. And what we did is we grabbed ELA math, ELD, math, science, whatever. We grabbed the standard, translate it to English, and I happen to put the teachable link here. Once again, this is separate because you got a designated ELD program, but just for fun, just to support, just an additional thing to save you time and reduce that prep time and not ship you a 65-page teacher manual, we also have this for you. And all I did to get there was I went lessons, I went filters, I hit other resources. Look at all the grade levels. We have math, science. If you want to pick out ELD one lesson at a time, which we do not recommend, but some people are like, this is what I need to do. And then you hit apply my lesson filter. Also, if you happen to be one of those crazy teachers that actually memorize the standards, you can actually type in the standards there. Just don't forget all the periods. And we do have some assessments that we're going to talk about at a later time, but let me just show you that now because we're running out of time. I think we already went over time. So I'm just going to show you that. Every 5th day on the Launch Literacy program, you'll every 2 weeks, we have like a little assessment piece, and that's both in print and digital.